And good evening, everybody. This is Vinny Millet with Millet Law, the strongest name in law. We continue on our series here with the LNE series, the Law and Entertainment series, LNE series, Law and Entertainment, because this is the fusion of law and entertainment here at Millet Law. Before we get started, remember, click on the link, click on the subscribe button, go to the website, www.milletlaw.com, www.milletlaw.com. Sign up for the newsletter so you always stay in the know and, you're always up to speed with everything. The date today is October 26th. It's 10:05 p.m. It's been a long day as usual, but Millet Law is open 24/7. I basically sleep 3 hours a night, so whatever. There's always room. There's always room for new videos and training material and additional series. Okay, so let's boil down to it. So today's episode is concerning. It's episode number 5 of the LNE series. It's concerning infants and entertainment contracts. Infants and entertainment contracts. Keep in mind, an infant is in the law, infant is just somebody that's considered too young to form into a contract on their own. Generally, in regular contract law, remember, so entertainment law, contracts in the entertainment industry are very unique. They're different. They don't follow regular standard protocols, norms that you would expect. Generally, in any other area of contract, if you're under the age of infancy, if you're not an adult, then obviously you're not you don't have what's known as capacity to contract because you're too young. That varies by state, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when it comes to entertainment contracts and this concept of capacity to contract. I mean, you see it, right? I mean, you see it every single day. People in Hollywood, actors, actresses, artists, very young. Some of them are in their teens, right? I mean, I don't know. I can't think of Justin Bieber. I'm sure at some point, or whatever the case is. So they do have unique properties in contracts. They have entertainment law contracts. The first very unique thing is, this varies from state to state, right? Like Vermont may have a different law. I know New York and California have different laws. Generally, infants can contract. Underage individuals, underage actors, underage artists can contract, and they can have enforceable contracts. For the most part, unless the law says otherwise, generally the infant, though, can go into a contract, does have the power to disaffirm. Disaffirm means to repudiate the contract, to just scratch out the contract. Generally, that would mean that, the infant's not liable on the contract. Maybe there's some kind of quasi-contractual remedy if there's a breach or if there's some kind of just regular cancellation of the contract. So for instance, let's say the infant, let's say the kid under 18, let's say a 15-year-old contracted or whatever, got into a contract to do something. The brand gave the kid a whole bunch of money up front or built a whole bunch of things to make the kid more comfortable, to make him perform better, and now the kid just randomly disaffirms the contract, disaffirms when he's 18 or whatever the case is. The label, the brand wants money, right? They want their damages. Hey, we invested in you and now you gave us this. That's a problem. So though the infant does have the power to disaffirm, there still is some, and generally is not liable under the contract for disaffirming anything. Generally, there is some kind of quasi-contract, quasi-liability for certain investments and necessaries. Or for instance, in many instances, the infant will have to restore the goods in possession, or provide them back, whatever, or the party investing in the infant will have to be made whole in some way, shape, or form. So even though they do have the power to disaffirm, you'll see at the age of 18 they have the power to disaffirm or ratify. Even though they have those powers, it's not just a quick wash and go away. The party that's contracting with them is entitled to something, some kind of quasi-contract relief, quasi relief. Maybe again being made whole, being made being placed into the position that they were in prior to entering into the contract, maybe. So that's another option. So generally speaking, also I briefly touched on it, but yes. So when an infant turns 18, they have the power to, for the most part, unless statutes otherwise, they have the power to disaffirm the contract or actually ratify the contract to make it solid, make it whole, to go forward in the future. Generally speaking, if the minor is found, if the minor who is now 18 is found to have entered into that contract and tried to take some kind of nefarious action now to put themselves in a better position to gain an unfair advantage they may not have had prior to the age of 18, prior to the age of consented capacity, then the court's going to wash that. The court's going to, the court's going to take care of that. The court's going to modify the terms of the contract, kind of have more equitable expectations between the parties. A very important aspect when it comes to infancy and incapacity, children under the age of 18, a very important concept is that many states require some kind of judicial intervention when it has to do with either ratifying these contracts or disaffirming these contracts. So, for example, New York has a general obligations law. It's section 3101. That contract the infant will not be able to disaffirm that contract if when it is entered into as a child, if it is considered reasonable and provident. All right, so if it's considered reasonable and provident, that a reasonable adult would have entered into this contract, then the judge will not just simply let it wash away. The judge will permit it to stay firm, permit it to stand, and the party asserting breach will be able to claim damages on it that is not upheld. California has also an optional procedure for which either party can petition the court to affirm or deny the contract, whatever the case is. But the point of this video is really to point out that when it comes to entertainment law, infants have a very the expectation of infants and how infants are treated very different than regular contract law. Remember, regular contract law, an infant's not going to be able to have the capacity to contract. An infant generally is assumed to not be in the right state of mind, not the age of consent, not an adult age to be able to have the capacity to contract. Basically, their mind can't wrap around it. In entertainment contracts, it will stand. It's okay. Infants can have that. So that's a pretty big difference. If you're into contract law, but you're not into the nuances of entertainment law, you wouldn't really kind of notice that. But that's essentially what happens here. And then sometimes the state gets involved. There's usually a statute on point. Again, I know Vermont, California, New York have specific states. New York is under the general obligations law. I know that specifically because I've been there in the past. And that's just basically what we're going through. So this video is just a quick primer on infants and entertainment contracts. This is the L&E series. This was episode number 5. We are going to go forward with other concepts. We're going to go forward with terms such as like duration of contracts. We're going to go forward with things like moral clauses, entertainment contracts and obligations. We're going to go forward with non-compete clauses, best promotional efforts. There's a wide variety of items that constitute entertainment law, and we are going to go through all that. But today we just simply make a quick, brief, little video into infancy and incapacity, how to do a capacity contract, the arbitrary age of 18, and the unique properties of an infant in the contract, of someone under the age of 18 getting into some kind of contractual agreement with maybe like a label brand or something to that effect. If you have any questions, obviously, leave a message in the comments below. You can always reach out to us at vmaletti@maletti.com. That's VMILETTI@maletti.com. And, hope this was helpful. Hopefully it was a little bit educational, entertaining, and taught you something. So that's it. So look, have a wonderful day. Yours in law, love, and lifts. And we are out. Till next video.